Yo, yo, Black Family Powers, King Leon X, KLX, the Human Liberator. This is episode 64. Episode 64 of Take Charge of Your Life. It's our self-mastery class. It's our midday motivation series where we discuss the strategies, we discuss the processes, we discuss the tactics that we can implement right now to measurably increase the quality of our lives. And so what we're talking about today and for the remainder of the week, is goals. The benefits of setting goals, how to set goals, long-term, short-term goals, how to set goals in our for our physical life, goals for our family, financial goals, social goals, so goals for our social contribution, spiritual goals for our spiritual development towards enlightenment, towards self-mastery, mental goals, and goals for our intellectual advancement and skill sets, career goals, and all of these other different things. So again, if I say something that resonates with you in these episodes, make sure you type "make the choice." All right, you type "make the choice" when I say something that resonates with you, because we understand that it's only one choice in life. It's either to develop yourself to the highest state, develop yourself to become your greatest version, so you can become the greatest asset to the collective, or not. You either take possession of your mind, direct it to the ends that you choose, or don't. Okay, but complaining, procrastination, blaming, and excuses will not get you anywhere. Okay, so it's the time to get real clear about where it is that we want and the direction that we're headed, realizing that these things are not outside of ourselves, but these things are inside of ourselves. There's nothing that we are seeking that is outside of ourselves. If we are seeking anything outside of ourselves, we will only find according to our own distortion. You see, because nothing really truly exists outside of ourselves. All things exist now and within. That is so when we're setting goals, all we're doing is tapping into the inherent flow of wealth that is already within us. How do we begin to manifest these things? Through consistent, deliberate actions. All right. And so this is it's Tuesday, February 28th, 2017. And like I said, this episode 64 of Take Charge of Your Life. All right, and we're talking about the benefits of setting goals right now. All right, by setting goals, if you're taking notes, I want you to start writing these because the interesting fact about goals is that only 3% of adults have written goals. All right, only 3% of adults have their goals written down. Only 3% of adults have long-term, short-term goals written down. All right, only 3%. Only 3% of adults have long-term, short-term written goals, right? Everyone's going to say, yeah, I have goals. They're all in my mind. Yeah, I got goals. I got dreams. I got aspirations, right? But they ain't never put their dream to the test, right? They can't, if people say they have goals, but if I tell them, hey, go grab your list of goals, they won't be able to do that. If I say, yo, go grab your list of well-organized, well-planned, well-meticulated, well-thought-out, long-term, short-term goals for your health, for your finances, for your social contribution, for your spiritual development, for your family, for your recreation. Go ahead, show me these goals. Go ahead, grab that list of goals. Only 3% of people will be able to do that. Only 3 out of 100 people. Only 3 out of every 100 people in America. 3 out of every 100 adults in America will be able to do that. Now, when I learned that statistic, I made sure that I was going to be able to be in the 3%, because I know that as soon as I take the time, the necessary time to plan out my life, to decide, if I do the hardest work that exists, which is really thinking, right? Thinking, planning, meticulating, filtering through all the possibilities of my limitless future, and getting clear about the things that I want to see, the things that I want to do, the things, who do I want to be, what do I want to have, what do I want to accomplish, where do I want to go, what would I like to share. You see, these half a dozen questions that I was able to consider was able to help me become clearer and clearer and clearer about who I am, the direction that my life is headed, and then the type of feelings that I want to experience because of these actions, right? Goals. You got to have these goals. right? By setting goals, you can fully realize your maximum potential. Most people, it's like Les Brown said, it's not that people aim too high in life and miss, it's that they aim too low and hit. All right. So when we're setting goals, then all right, the discipline we talked about discipline before in another episode. We were talking about discipline being the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. All right. So the clearer our goal, the more power we'll be able to draw from ourselves to have the discipline to achieve the actions, deliberate action steps that will move us closer to that direction. We understand that failure is a few errors in judgment repeated daily. Failure is a few errors in judgment repeated daily, whereas success is a few simple disciplines implemented towards the attainment of a definite purpose. So when we set goals, it can take goals and dreams are going to come a size too big so we can grow into them. All right. So then we could turn inward and realize that we have the power, we have the self-discipline to use our willpower to change the direction. Right. If we set a goal and we don't accomplish it, right, we experience disappointment. Disappointment is the gap between expectations and reality. So when it comes to goal setting, it's not being so rigid in the actual how or the actual what, but understanding that when we project ourselves into future circumstances, clear circumstances that we want to experience, things are going to happen to us. We're going to become a type of person that can really achieve anything, right? So you fully realize your maximum potential by setting goals, all right? By setting goals, you're going to learn how to use your mind and your talents fully. Most people, that's why they say the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, right? The wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard because most people live empty, right? They live empty. They live as a wandering generality. They live just going through the motion. They live just doing what other people said or suggested that they should do. They live only by setting and applying goals or applying principles that other people said that they should apply, never really understanding their own personal power. They live empty, and then they die full of all their passion, full of all their potential. They die full of all their art. They die full of all their work. They die full of all their, inventions and their cures and their songs and their art. They die full of all of the value that they were brought here to bring. And it's only because of a lack of clarity and a lack of discipline, right? So if you want to join the 3%, if you want to walk away from the 97% of people who are wandering generalities, check this out: 97% of people have no idea what they're doing or where they're going. Okay, they're just going through the motions as if a robot would, right? You could train a goddamn lion to jump from this little 1 by 1 foot square to this 1 by 1 foot square in between some fire. You could train a tiger to run in between some fire and do a whole bunch of different stuff, and it does it on an everyday basis. That's not maximizing the tiger's potential. That's not maximizing the lion's potential. It's that lion or that tiger or that bear has been trained, just like you have been trained. You have been trained to think that you are in control of your own destiny, but when all you're doing is acting out a predetermined decision that someone else made. So check this out. They give you, hold on, let's say my connection weak. Hold on, yeah. What's up with this? Is they be saying my connection weak. What's up? Come on, connection. All right, you brought it back. Okay, connection, we brought back. All right, cool. So anyway, move on to the next point. By setting goals, right, you can not only fully realize your potential, your maximum potential. Not only can you use your mind and your talents fully. Not only can you predetermine the direction that your life is headed. Use your willpower to get there. But also by setting goals, you can have more purpose and more direction in life, right? Because when it comes to, it increases your decision making capability. It's hard for some people to make decisions. Indecision is one of the byproducts of a scarcity consciousness, right? When you don't have a definite major purpose and you don't have clear long-term, short-term written goals, then things are going to come your way. You're going to have experiences where you're going to have to make decisions, right? And if you haven't already declared who you are, where you're going, what you're going to have, what you're going to experience, then it's harder for you to decide. It's going to be harder for you to discern. It's going to be harder for you to decide or discern where it is that you're going, or what decision is it best to make. People, see, we understand that successful people make decisions promptly as soon as they have all of the facts. Unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly, and then they change them often. Whereas a successful person is going to make the decision as soon as they have all the facts, and they're going to change that decision very rarely, if at all. Whereas an unsuccessful person will take the longest time to make the decision, and then after this so-called decision has been made, they'll switch it often, because their decision-making capability isn't based on a definite major purpose. So when we make decisions, it's like, hey, this is the outline. This is where I intend to become. This is so. Is this decision going to get me closer to my long-term goal? Is this decision going to get me closer to my definite major purpose, or is it not? Right? If I do this, is it bringing me closer to my highest good, or is it not? Right? It's very easy to make decisions that way, because once you have all the facts, it's like, hey, if my definite major purpose is to positively influence the minds of the youth, create an achievement-driven culture, and lead the Black collective into a global renaissance, if my definite major purpose is to become my greatest version, socially, economically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, right? So I could be more able to prosper through hard times and deal and overcome life's obstacles. If I'm to become my greatest version, to be the greatest asset to the collective, right? If one of my goals is to be the most powerful, wealthiest, influential Black man that ever existed, arguably, and without a shadow of a doubt, the most powerful, wealthiest, influential Black man of the 21st century, then what results are expected of me, right? Am I willing to put in those results? And then when it comes to decision making, is this going to get me closer to these things I just clearly described, or is it not? Right? Is this going to get me closer to the things that I've declared for myself, the 5 things that I want people to say when I die? Will this action get me closer to that, or is it not? Right? It's increased decision-making capability. Hold up. All right? By setting goals, not only will you have more life purpose and more direction, but you're able to make better decisions. Like I said, increase your decision-making capability, right? And then you begin to see that every single thing that you're attracted to, every single thing that comes to you is a byproduct or a lead up to your definite major aim, right? So by setting goals, not only do you jump yourself into the 3% of people, right? 3% of adults, only 3% of adults have long-term, short-term, clearly defined, well-specified, well-meticulated, planned out, written goals that they're acting on daily. And so let me pause right here. We say 3% of adults in America have long-term, short-term written goals, and then 3% of America makes 97% of the money. Right? 1% of the world makes, or 1% of the world's population makes, 90%, or accumulates or manages 90% of all the world's wealth, resources, and all of these other little different types of things. So then you must walk away from the 97%. You must walk away from that 99%. See, these people who are a part of the 3%, these people who are part of the 1%, is because they clearly took the time to decide what it is that they want to do, what it is that they want to be, who it is that they want to become, what it is that they want to see, what do they want to have, what do they want their children to have, where do they want to go, what would they like to share. They got real clear organized plans, and then acted on those plans on a consistent, deliberate basis, you see, with the spirit that does not recognize failure or temporary defeat. Right? And this is what I have done starting when I began to understand and learn and become aware of these concepts in 2012. All right? And so after 5 years of executing, of 5 years of implementation, of examination, of trial and error, of study, then I'm prepared now to, since I do live out my goals and my dreams, since I am directly headed towards my definite chief aim, since I have wrote things in 2012 and that have already manifested. I wrote things in 2013 that manifested. I wrote things in 2014 that have manifested, and I know and I understand the power to turn my ideas into physical things, and I'm continuing to do that. Then I'm willing to share my blessings. I'm willing to share the information that I received that changed the direction of my life. Okay, and this is what I do in the Take Charge of Your Life series. Okay, these are not concepts that I haven't. These are not concepts like when I teach my classes. I'm teaching out of a book that I'm teaching out of books that I already read, right? Books that I already read and studied, or things or concepts and ideas that that I've been sitting on for years. You see, all of these notes come from the deliberate study, but from the deliberate study of self-made millionaires, people who was born in modest means, and through the execution of deliberate strategies were able to achieve material riches of their own choice and quantity. They were able to be engaged in the labor of love. They had hope for future achievement. These people have a capacity for applied faith. They have a positive mental attitude and sound health. People who've developed material riches of their own choice and quantity, right? People who have the wisdom to understand people. People who have an open mind towards all subjects and all people, right? The type of most powerful, wealthiest, influential people in the world. If you begin to study wealth, if you begin to study power, you begin to study influence, and you will find some consistent habits across the board, right? And consistent belief systems across the board, which are completely in line with universal law and manifestation. So if you want to learn these things, this is what I deliver, and this is what I execute. These are the things that I'm interested in learning, right? I'm not interested. I understand history now, right? When I first got tied into some of these concepts and ideas, I didn't have any social awareness as far as history is concerned, right? I didn't understand the knowledge of self as far as black divinity, black supremacy, and these other different types of things. But I understand that history is only one subject, okay? And the subject of history will only have me repeating what has already happened unless I'm able to call and draw out into the future, unless I'm able to study and see history as a holistic experience. So then I see where the world is going, so I can prepare myself and my people to get there first. You see, study where the world is going and get there first. This is how fortunes is built, right? So by setting goals, not only can we fully realize our potential, not only can we use our mind and our talents fully, not only will we have more purpose and more direction in life, not only will we be able to make better decisions, our decision-making capability will be increased, but we'll be more organized and effective, all right, by setting goals, clear, long-term. Here, let me just show y'all real quick what I mean. Here, I just grabbed these I just wanted to show y'all what I meant though, just real quick. Here, I could even grab this one. Look. These is just some books that I have on hand, right? Look. This just happened to be a genre because I was looking at some of my old goals. I wonder what year this book is from. But it says, I intend to give up all comfort and all self-limited beliefs. I intend to give up all idle time and replace it with action that will get me closer to my goals. I will give 100% focus on developing myself into the type of person that makes 7 figures a year. I will give up all toxic relationships and bad habits. I will greet each day with a map and focus on my top priority tasks first, right? And then there's a whole bunch of list of daily habits and all that. Look. Hold on, that's just one page. Look. But I wanted to show y'all this. This was a book. Just look at the date on this. Right? November 13th, 2012. Right? We're talking about life is a game, spiritual and holy. Learn the rules if you want to play and win. Set goals. Motivate yourself and others. Handle adversity. Time management. Get rid of bad habits. Generate wealth. Right? Be in the field, not on the bleachers. Right? We want to look at one of this book, right? Signed Leon LaFleur Jr. way before King Leon X, way before the Human Liberator. Right? I will make my dreams come true. Show me the money. Right? And then all throughout these things, right? All throughout it's clear, right? Many different goals, many different accomplishments, many different parts of myself that I've been able to continue to explore and to continue to examine. I don't need to necessarily show y'all all of my goal sheets. Look, I showed y'all this yesterday. This book is from, look, November 2012 to February 2013. Self-development concepts, right? We talk about clarity of purpose. My chief aim in life is to influence the minds of the African American youth or the African American community to create an achievement-driven culture, leading black people into a global renaissance. Right? This is what I wrote in 2012, right? Way before I ever heard of black nationalism. Way before I ever heard of African internationalism. Way before I ever heard of kingdom or nation building. Way before any of these things, I just sat down to decide and take charge of my thoughts so I could do what I will with them. All right? And so y'all don't need to know all of my goals and things like that, because I don't need to know the how specific and deliberate I was with a lot of the goals that I had or that I continue to have, because I don't need your negative vampire blood-sucking energy trying to steal my promise. You see, because people don't actually, most people, the only people that really want you to be successful and be powerful and influential is if they're on their own journey and they understand their own power and their own success and their influence. And if they're not committed to that journey, then they're not really as happy for you. These heights that you reach, they're not as happy for you because they're still in the same place. Right? So when I talk to people who's in the same place that we was in 2009, and it's 8 years later, and they still thinking the same thoughts and engaging in the same activities, still having the same type of conversations, well, I'm not gonna feel bad for you, fam. What I'm gonna do is continue to be that light, and I know exactly where I'm going. So yeah, in 2009, I was real deeply engaged in the stuff that we're talking about right now. As a child, I did childish things, but when I became a man, I put those childish things away. Right? And part of manhood is being able to have clear, organized, well-planned, well-thought-out, well-meticulated goals, so then it could increase our effectiveness. Right? By setting goals, you're able to do more for yourself and others. By setting goals, it's gonna increase our confidence and self-worth. Right? By setting goals. Right? Because again, we understand that all things exist now. So anything that I have written, I know that it exists in the energy form, and it's not outside of myself. And for it to manifest here in this physical reality, all I have to do is turn inward and increase my vibrations to the type of person that has these types of things as a reality. All I have to do is engage in the type of actions and have the type of habitual thought process that attracts me the experiences and opportunities that will bring me my greatest good. You see, so this is the truth, right? And so because we're gonna be talking about goals all week, right? But also by setting goals, not only is it gonna increase your self-confidence and your self-worth, but it's gonna leave you feeling more fulfilled. Like even though my material realm and the physical realm of life might appear to be how it was prior to me getting clear. Or it might even be worse, because because for real, when I was really setting goals, or I really started engaging and learning about these concepts, I was making 70,000 plus. You feel me? Working corporate America, suit to work, flying around, running sales meetings, on conference calls every day, the corporate card, swiping for everything, tax deducting everything, goddamn, and doing hiring and firing and doing payroll and all these other different types of things. So, but all I was doing was just plugging. I was living out someone else's goal and someone else's dream. I thought it was my dream because it was my goal and dream to get a good, high-paying job. But then once I got that, and once I was in a performance-based type of environment, and if I outperform it, I'll excel everyone, then I'm going to get paid more than them. I'll have more responsibility. I'm going to have more opportunity. I'm going to have more recognition, which all of these things are fine. But that doesn't lead to inheritance, though. I was not able, once I realized that I wasn't able to leave any of these things to my children. I don't even have children yet, but if I decided to have children, I wouldn't be able to leave this company to them. Why am I busting my ass 60, 70 hours a week for this $1,800 a month, or $1,800 a week, or this $2,000 a week, when the owner is making goddamn over $160,000 a month from this company? You're getting paid goddamn really like over $200,000 a month from this company. So if my check $2,000 a week and his shit $75,000, $80,000 a week, that's slavery, fam. You think that you're not a slave because you got a good, high-paying job or some shit like that, but I want you to compare your check to the owner's check. I want you to compare your check to the highest paid person in the company, the owner. I want you to compare your check and the bottom line. I want you to compare your bottom line check to the check of the person who owns, runs, and operates the company. And then tell me if you're satisfied. Then decide the job titles and the duties and tasks, and then realize if you're actually doing more hard labor than he is or she is. And then you're going to realize that you're doing more hard labor than he or she is, right? And then you're going to realize that it's still black labor, white wealth. And you're going to realize that it's still, that not much has changed, except for we went from physical to invisible chains. You see? And so in the process of breaking invisible chains, we have to do for ourselves. We can't expect others to do for us what we could do for ourselves. And so part of the things that we could do for ourselves is take charge of our life. We could take charge of our destiny. We could take charge of our future. We could take charge of our finances. We could take charge of our health. We could take charge of our spiritual development, right? And all of these things are a process of setting goals, right? In the process of setting goals, getting clear about who we are, what we want to have, what we want to experience, where do we want to go, who do we want to help, how do we want to serve, who do we want to serve. How will we add our greatest good to the collective? So by setting goals, not only will you have greater confidence and self-worth, but you'll also feel more fulfilled. And the feeling of fulfillment, the fulfilling of a fulfilled life is the all, right? When it comes to setting goals and stuff like that, it's cool, but the result isn't the prize, okay? The prize is the person that you become in the process of the pursuit. The prize is the type of person that you become in the process of the pursuit of this goal, you see? And the pursuit of becoming the type of person that manifests this. Like, for example, everyone knows what Sony is, right? Sony's an electronic company. But did y'all know that Sony started off as canned goods? Did you know that Sony started off as canned goods? Their idea was for canned goods. And it didn't work. So they switched it. They kept the same name and they put it on another thing. And it didn't work. They kept the same name and they put it on electronics, and then boom. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar company and a multi-billion-dollar industry. But I want you to know that the goal for Sony was canned goods. Canned goods. Canned fruits and vegetables. You have to know that. You have to study that. You have to examine to see that every single person or every single group or every single club that is world renowned now all started with an idea. It all started with a thought. It all started with pen to paper. It all started with a concept that was shared with one person, which was then shared to multiple people, which was then shared to the people that were willing and able to help and assist in making it a reality. And even when it didn't become a reality, the people who believed the most in the original goal or the why right? And the why was the feeling, right? So when I'm talking about you feel more fulfilled by setting goals, it's because the feeling, the sound health, that peace of mind, that freedom from fear, that freedom from worry, being engaged in the labor that you actually love, right? And you got hope for future achievement. You're not recognizing failure or temporary defeat. You have an open mind towards all subjects and all people, right? If they were so rigid in their belief of Sony being canned goods, then they wouldn't have had the open mind towards technology. They wouldn't have the open mind towards the other industries, right? If they were so rigid in their beliefs. So when it comes to goals, I don't want you to think that it's the result of the goal that we're seeking. It's not the result of the goal. It's the feeling. It's the feeling. It's the feeling of fulfillment, right? Which is moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Because I don't want you to be disillusioned or to think that, yo, I set these goals and until I hit these goals, then I can't have happiness. People say, yo, I love myself when I lose weight, or I love myself when I get my husband. Yeah, I'll be happy when I get this higher paying job, or yeah, I'll be happy when this, or yeah, I'll be happy when this, or yeah, I love myself when this, right? And when you say that, if you had that type of mentality, I want you to know that you're denying your existence right now. Damn, I'm 30 minutes. I'm only supposed to be 15 minutes. Damn, I'm only supposed to be 15 minutes on Tuesday through Thursday. Monday and Friday, I give y'all 30. And I ain't even talked about how to set goals yet. I'm still talking about the benefits of setting goals, right? And so not only are you going to have maximum potential or realize your maximum potential, use your mind and talents fully, not only are you going to have more purpose and direction in life, not only by setting goals will you be able to make better decisions and be more organized and effective, not only will you do more for yourself and others, not only will you have a greater sense of self-confidence, not only will you feel more fulfilled, not only will you be more enthusiastic, or the next thing is that you will be more enthusiastic and motivated, right? You'll be more enthusiastic because you know exactly where you're going. You know exactly where you're headed. You know that you're prepared, right? You didn't see me make one post about being anti-Trump. You didn't see me make one post about, oh my gosh, Donald Trump's president, what are we going to do now? Who cares, right? I'm already prepared. I've already done prepared myself, right? I've already done prepared my spirit, my mind, my emotion, right? To prosper through hard times, and I know the direction that my life is headed, you see. And so lack of preparation guarantees poor performance, you see. So it's like so not only will you be more enthusiastic and motivated by setting goals, but you're be able to accomplish some uncommon projects. You'll be able to accomplish some uncommon projects. Most people, in the projects that they want to indulge on and they want to engage in, there are some extremely common things that doesn't bring any power out of them. You feel me? And it's not even their original thought. It's not even their concept. It's not even something that they really decided that they want to do for themselves. It's something that they heard someone else say that they're doing for themselves, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. But do you really want to do that? Do you really know why? Do you really know the how? Are you really willing to put in the work and the effort that's necessary to become that? Because I want people to try to tell my youth, they say that they want to do a bunch of stuff, but I'm saying like this. You say you want to be a doctor. Do you know that if you say you want to be a doctor, there are thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of actions that go right along with just that one thing? Right? You say you want to be a goddamn brain surgeon or some shit or whatever you say you want to do. You have to know that there are 1,000+ actions. There are 1,000 actions attached to anything that you said that you want to do, any type of person that you said you want to become. So you have to decide, are you willing? What's in it for you? Is it worth it? Right? And so this concludes episode 64 of Take Charge of Your Life. The benefits of setting goals. Tomorrow we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how to set goals and what can you do, what strategies, what processes did I use, and what processes have other people used to start where they are, determine where they want to go, and then develop an organized plan to get there, and then shrink that plan all the way down to what they can do on a moment-to-moment basis, a 15-minute to 15-minute basis. How do you break down your definite major life purpose, aim, all from like who you intend to be? Like, how do I go from the most powerful, wealthiest, influential black man of the 21st century as the end result to now to bringing that all the way back to the right now, to today, and what I need to be doing today, in this moment, in this second, in this hour, to get me closer to that. Right? If that's what will be said on my obituary, if that's what people will be saying when I'm dead and gone, how tough must I be on myself? Right? I must be extremely tough on myself, because if we do what is easy, our life will be hard. But if we do what is hard, our life will be easy. Be tough on yourself, and life will be easy, family. It's King Leon next. Remember, the only limitation that you have is the one that you set up in your own mind, or you allow others to set up for you. All right? You must become your greatest version. You must make the choice. You must take responsibility for the space that you occupy as an individual, so then you could turn inward. Right? You can turn inward and become your greatest version, and understanding that whoever you want to be, what you want to have, the things you want to experience, and all of these types of things will be directly related to your willingness to get clear, write it down, plan, act on it, develop the persistence, self-discipline, go the extra mile with a pleasing personality and a positive mental attitude. You have to understand the principles of personal achievement, and this is why I'm here every single Monday through Friday giving you all those, right? Because I know exactly where I'm headed, and this documentation is just to prove it. All right? Y'all stay grateful. And again, you could buy my book. You can go to my website and buy my book. And you can also get my CD at kingleonnext.com. All right? Stay grateful.